Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I just wanted to get on here and play with some makeup. Some stuff that maybe I haven't used in a while. And I also have a brand new palette that I want to share with you today. So about, I don't know, a month and a half ago, I received the BPerfect. Yeah, I received the BPerfect Carnival 3 palette. And I was so excited to get this, and it took quite a while to get to me. That's what the inside looks like there in case you haven't seen it yet. Stunning palette, gorgeous, bright, vivid colors. But anyway, it took a while to get to me, and when it finally did, I just wasn't as excited to use it anymore, which is fucking crazy. So anyway, I want to play with this palette. I just want to play with some makeup I haven't used in a while and just chat with you guys. The last video I filmed, I told you all I was struggling to come up with topics for my videos, and a lot of you said, we don't really care. Just chat, put makeup on, and we'll watch. So we'll put that theory to the test, see if anybody's interested in watching me use this BPerfect palette, and have a little conversation. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you like makeup and beauty content, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave today. While you're at it, ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my future uploads. Let's get into this video. Okay, so I went through my collection and I picked out products that I really don't use that often, except for the primer. The primer, I'm really partial to, there's a handful of primers that I will gravitate towards when I'm switching them up. And I really don't stray too far from that just because I really know how these work for me and I like them. So the first product that I'm going to be putting down is the Smashbox Oil and Shine Control Primer. This one is fantastic if you have oily skin. If I wear this underneath my foundation during my workday, my foundation will last almost to the end of my workday, which is awesome. So I figured while I'm doing my makeup today, I can chat with you about some stuff. And I was thinking, what can we chat about? We need to have something to talk about, not just random ass thoughts that pop in my head. So I decided that we would talk about things that I wish I knew when I was much younger, or advice that I wish I would have taken when I was much younger. I think most of us have those things where we look back and we're like, man, I really wish I would have listened to this person, or my mom was so right, I should have listened to her, or whatever the case may be when it comes to advice. Things that we wish we would have known. So that's what I want to do. I want to talk about some stuff that I wish I would have listened to when I was much younger. I'm on my second bottle of this primer, by the way, so I'm getting ready to open up another one. That's how much I love it. Okay, so now that I have the primer laid down, we're going to go ahead and jump into foundation. The foundation that I picked is one that I don't believe I've ever used this on its own because the tone is so off. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. And you can just tell the tone is just a little bit too, well, it's too dark for one, but I think it's a little bit too warm for my skin tone. I'm going to blend it down the neck and we're going to roll with it anyway, because I wanted something that was a little bit more glowy looking, not as heavy and cakey and matte looking today. We'll see how that works out for me. So I've really been enjoying using a dry beauty blender here lately to blend out my foundation. I know that's most people dampen their beauty blenders, and I like it that way too. But this way, I feel like it just blends my foundation seamlessly. So that's what I'm going to do. So the first thing that I would go back and tell myself when I was younger is take care of yourself. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that can probably attest to this. When you're younger, you're not really thinking about what you're doing then and how that's going to affect you 30 years from now and all of the negative effects that it's going to have on your life in the future. You're just not thinking about that at the time. You're a kid, you're young, you're dumb, you're just living life, don't care about any of that. At least that's how I was. I was just a grade A idiot. Just out there being a dumbass. And I look back and I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? I didn't have a care in the world, wasn't concerned at all for, my future. Not to say I didn't care about my future, because that's not true, but I didn't take it seriously enough, I guess. I don't know, I was an idiot. Did a lot of dumb things. You get one body, that's it, one. And if you screw that up, and you're not taking care of yourself, that's it. You're stuck with that now. You're stuck with this screwed up body with all of these problems. This sounds terrible, but it's true. And, your parents tell you that, you need to take better care of yourself. Or, it's common sense, it's common knowledge that you should take good care of yourself. But so many people don't. And you don't really realize the total negative effect that it has on you until you get older and you start having all these problems. Okay, for instance, my skin issues. So I should have pointed this out before I started putting foundation on, but you guys know what my bare skin looks like. I have so many imperfections on my skin because of laying out in the sun. So that's another thing that I would go back and tell my younger self. Stay out of the damn tanning beds. Stay out of the tanning beds. Don't be outside baking with damn suntan oil or baby oil. Like, don't do that. It's going to give you skin cancer. Like, and you're told these things. You're told these things when you're doing this. Your parents might tell you, your friends might tell you it's dumb, you know, or they might be cheering you on. Girl, that tan looks good. But I just wish that I had been a lot smarter about things like that because my skin is jacked. And I worry now with all of the imperfections that I have that it's going to progress to something worse. I mean, just within my own immediate family, they've had to have, I don't want to like put my family's business out there, but I've had immediate family members have to have skin cancers removed from their face because of the same reason. So, and cancer is like prevalent in my family. So it's very scary to think that another 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I might be dealing with the same thing. And I already have, you know, some areas on my face that I kind of question. So it's worrisome. It's scary. It's not a good look. You don't want to get skin cancer. It's not worth the tan. You know, being a little bit darker, like who gives a shit? I will be pasty ass white going forward because it ain't nothing worth that. I don't really know how this is looking. It's definitely not the right shade. I'm trying to drag it down my neck, but it's not blending the way I want. And it's definitely not full coverage. I'm used to a full coverage foundation. This is more like a medium coverage, I guess. So I don't really like how this is settling in my lines and stuff, because it really is. I've had to tap it out quite a few times. This isn't like my favorite foundation ever, and again, the tone is way off, so probably not going to use this a whole lot in the future, but I do want to get some use out of it so it's not just sitting here collecting dust. Okay, the next thing I want to do is put on some concealer. So one of the concealers I use quite frequently because it's really good and it works well for me. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. And then the one I'm going to mix with that to make it a little bit lighter so I can brighten this up a little bit is the Mcgrath Labs Sublime Concealer. I don't use this one a whole lot. I did there for a little while. I was mixing these two together, I believe. And then for whatever reason, I just stopped using this one. So let's take it back. Let's mix these two together. Stupid ass stink bugs. Where you at, fucker? We're gonna blend it in. So another thing that I would try to heed, or, you know, advice that I was given that I should have listened to would be eat healthy. I mean, that's an easy one, right? Most people know that you need to eat healthy. It's super important that you don't eat like you're a garbage disposal. And that's pretty much how I've eaten my whole life. Just eat whatever I want. I don't gain weight. I can eat whatever I want. It's not necessarily always about gaining weight. I mean, even if you're not gaining weight, it's having other effects on your body. I don't know why. It's not like I didn't know that. I knew that. I didn't give a shit enough to eat well. And I still struggle with stuff like that. And I feel like if you don't start those habits when you're younger, it's super hard to get into the good habits when you're older. It can be done, but it's difficult. And I still don't eat as healthy as I should, but I eat a lot healthier than I used to, for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting my face now that I've got that concealer laid down. It still doesn't look like amazing underneath the eyes, but it is what it is. I'm going to use a dry beauty blender just to kind of set my face, and then I'm going to go over it with a different setting powder. So the first one I'm going to use is the Fenty Beauty setting powder in the shade Butter. And then I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder to kind of bring back some luminosity. I really like the e.l.f. powder for that. So going back to what I was talking about, taking care of yourself and eating properly and all that jazz. Just because you don't gain a lot of weight when you eat doesn't mean what you're eating is healthy. I don't know why I never made that correlation. I mean, I knew that, but I just did not do a good job eating the right things. And now when you get older, that shit starts to affect you a lot differently. Recently I've been dealing with all of these stomach issues, or what I'm being told is stomach issues. I don't have any clear diagnosis yet. The one thing that they're telling me is that it could be, severe acid reflux, which I've talked about on my channel before. And if that's the case, a lot of that can be controlled with what you eat. And I've been trying like hell to eat, healthy and things that aren't going to make it worse and whatnot. And it's been nuts. It's been a wild ride. I have not been very successful finding things to eat that don't make me want to die, honestly. If that's even what it is, because we don't know. So anybody will tell you that it's expensive to eat healthy. It's so much easier to buy frozen dinners, to buy canned food, to buy stuff that's just unhealthy because it doesn't cost as much to make. It's cheaper, it's processed, it's not good for you. So you can get in a really bad habit of eating like that just because it's so much cheaper and it's easier and it's more convenient. It's unhealthy and it's trash. And if I could go back and unlearn those unhealthy eating habits and start eating healthier a lot younger, I totally would. Okay, now that I have that Fenty Beauty powder down, I'm going to go ahead and take that e.l.f. setting powder to bring back that glow. Like, I just don't like the wrinkling and whatnot. It looks pretty heavy. Let's take the same brush. I'm going to go ahead and dip into that e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder with my Sonia G, what is this? Should know this by now. Her Face Pro brush. Love this brush as a all-over powder brush. And this will hopefully bring back some of that like sheen. Maybe. Good enough. It doesn't look so bad once I have everything down, but I still see like purple underneath my eyes, so I'm going to have to conceal that because that looks like shit. Damn it. That's going to be rough. That's going to be hard to try to conceal because I just put powder down. Wonderful. I'm going to attempt to use the very tiniest amount of my Bye Bye Under Eye from Cosmetics just to put like right here where that purple's peeking through. You guys might not even be able to see it, but I can see it. It's driving me crazy. Oh, here's another thing that I wish someone, not that I wish someone would have told me, but I wish that I would have done sooner. Buy a bed that's comfortable. Okay? I've been sleeping on the same busted ass bed for like 5 years. I bought it brand new from the mattress store, mattress warehouse, wherever the hell it was called. And I was promised that it was going to be this wonderful mattress. And when I laid on it, it was so nice. It was like a pillow top. And I was even told by the salesperson, which should have been a red flag, and it wasn't. And I feel like an idiot now. But I was even told, like, you don't weigh that much, so you're not going to have to worry about it, like, making an indentation or whatever. Making a dip in the bed. What are you, 120 pounds soaking wet? That's what the sales guy said to me. Well, within a couple months, I had an indentation in my bed. And I kept thinking it's because it's new. It just needs to be broken in. It's because it's new. It's going to go away. Like, where's the logic in that? Guess what? It didn't go away. And here I am 5 years later. And I have not had like a fully decent night's sleep on this bed in 5 years. It's been insane. So, yeah, that's something that I wish I would have, addressed sooner in my life. Buying a new damn mattress or taking that one back even, since it was trash. So I got one today. It finally arrived today, and I am so excited to sleep on it. Like, I cannot wait. I've never been more excited to go to bed. Does that look any better than the other side? At all. I can't tell. Like, mildly. It's disappointing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set that with that Halo Glow setting powder. Why not? We'll see what happens. I feel like that might have made it worse. What's happening? Oh no. That looks horrible. I don't think my under eyes have looked that bad in a long time. Okay, you know what? We're gonna live on the edge a little bit, and I'm gonna attempt. Oh, this might be really bad. This might be a bad idea because that looks like shit. Another thing that I wish I would have. See, this doesn't have to be like what I wish I would have like been told, or just things that I wish I would have done earlier in life. I wouldn't have waited for. I would have just done the first time I thought about it, the first time someone told me to do it. Like, one of those things would be to find something I really enjoy and do it. That didn't include partying and being a hot mess. Because when I was younger, I was the conductor of the Hot Mess Express. And I wasted so much time. And not to mention how unhealthy it is to live that kind of lifestyle. I just was a dumbass, 100%. And I wish that I wouldn't have been. I wish that if I could go back and change that stuff now, I just would have been a good person. I'd have been a good girl. It's as good as the under eyes are going to get. So we're just going to set it and forget it. When you're a kid, you think you know everything. Even when you're like in your 20s, you think you know everything. And I mean, it's not like I'm a whole lot older. I'm in my, soon to be late 30s, and you're a lot wiser in your 30s than you are in your 20s, and you're wiser in your 20s than you are in your teens, and so forth and so on. And there's just so much that I would do differently. I'm going to go ahead and use the Dior Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base. This is something that I just recently discovered, and I really like it. I think it does a good job kind of keeping your lids matte, making eyeshadow stick to them. It also covers up the purple on my lids really well. When I get done doing this, I'm going to do my brows off camera because it takes a long time. If you're interested in seeing the brow routine, I can link it above because I have done like a detailed brow tutorial. It's extra as shit, and I don't feel like including all that in this one because it'll take too long. But if you want to see it, feel free to skip over to that one, or wait till this is over and then go watch it, whatever you want to do. Whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your pickle. Not really sure what happened. They went a little wonky. That usually happens when I'm filming. Like, this one always ends up longer somehow. Like, how the hell does that happen? I don't know. Maybe my face is uneven. That's probably what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to like the contour, the blush, the bronzer, and all that jazz. So for contouring, I'm going to use my Smashbox Cali Contour Palette. I really enjoy this one. I just don't ever use it. It's got really good shades in here, like this one up here for contour for me. It's got a blush, it's got bronzer, we've got, a lightening shade, we've got the highlights. Not a bad palette. I will say, if you use that Clean Canvas Eye Base from Dior Cosmetics, if you don't put shadow over it right away, it does start to crease. So I will have to tap some more product back over my lids. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use a brush that I always use for contour. This is my Sonia G Cheek Pro brush. So what else is there that I wish I would have, thought about sooner in life? I have a good one. Not everyone's your friend. I mean, when we're young, most of us are naive, and we just assume, the best of people. I've learned the hard way on that one many times. You trust certain people, and you just find out that they were never really your friend, and that might be one of the huge reasons why I don't have that many close friends, because I never had that many close friends to begin with. Just because someone says they're your friend or pretends to be one doesn't mean they are. I guess what I mean by saying all that is just be careful. It's sad that experience makes you hesitant to open up to people, to let people in and all that stuff, but I've learned that lesson the hard way quite a few times. And then another one would just be like in regards to relationships and whatnot. Like, if it's not working, don't try to force it. If you have to try to force something, that means it's not right. And if that's the case, why would you want it to work out? You know what I mean? Because it's not going to. If it feels forced, or like, the other person's just not in it the way you are, just let it go. Move on. Let it go. And eventually you'll find, somebody that feels the way you do. Another one to go along with that, don't try to change people. Why would you want to? Especially like in relationships and whatnot. Don't try to change the other person. You should be falling in love with the person that they are, or liking the person that they are, not who they have the potential to be. I think a lot of people try to do that. They get with somebody and it's like, oh, but if they would just change this one thing, they would be perfect. Or if they just wouldn't do this thing, they would be great. Like, that's not how it works. And I've done that several times where it's like, yeah, but it's just this one thing. Well, we should be getting with people that we like just the way they are. Because, I mean, that's what we all want, right? Somebody to care about us and love us for just the person that we are. We shouldn't expect anything else from, our partners either. Or even your friends, for that matter. I guess another one would be, you are who you hang around. And that's something that I wish that I would have really thought about when I was younger. Not that, like, everyone that I hung around was, like, bad people or anything when I was real young. But I definitely was influenced to do things that I otherwise wouldn't have done if I'd had a different group of friends. So it's hard to say that if I could go back, would I do things differently, because obviously the experiences that I've had have made me into the person I am today. But my life has definitely been difficult because of the choices that I've made. Definitely could have done some stuff differently. Here's another one. It's okay to be alone. You don't need to be with somebody. You don't always have to be with a friend. You don't always have to be with a significant other. It's okay to spend time alone. It's okay to go out to eat alone, to go to the movies alone, to just be alone. There's nothing wrong with that. I spent a lot of my, youth and even my 20s. I just didn't know how to be happy with just myself. Like, I had to always be with somebody, whether that be friends or, a significant other or whatever. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to enjoy your own company. I've learned how to do that a lot more, as I've gotten older, thankfully. Okay, so I don't want to jump into the blush quite yet because I want to do the eye look and then decide what color blush I want to use. So again, for the eye look, this is going to be exciting because I've played around with this palette off camera. I haven't played with it for you guys yet. Again, we're using the BPerfect Carnival 3 palette. This mug is super colorful and just stunning. Like, look how vivid these colors are. It's a little big, she's a biggin', but so far the quality in this is fantastic. I've used some of the pinks and purples. What else did I use? I believe I used one of the lime green. I kind of want to keep this look really simple. I don't want it to be something too over the top and crazy. Let's go ahead and dip into the shade Lilac and use it as my transition shade. That's this one up here. I haven't actually used this one yet. I've only swatched it. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to use my Sonia G Classic Crease Brush just to build up some of that really beautiful lilac shade in my crease area. So I'm going to just start blending that lilac shade. Again, I don't want this to be super intricate. Ain't nobody got time for that shit tonight. I just want to play with this palette. I will tell you, just from swatching, and I have fiddled with the shimmers in this palette, I'm not 100% impressed with the shimmers. Some of them are really good, like the one that I might use 2 tonight. Those are really good, but not all of them were knocking my socks off. I mean, that's kind of been my experience with these palettes though, from BPerfect. Their mattes are where it's at. They're incredible. I do like this eye base. So far I've had good experiences with it. I think I'm going to build up that crease with the shade Grape. That's that shade here. It's a purple shade, but it's more warm toned. It's not cool toned at all. I want to use that, and then I'm going to deepen it up even more. I lied. Let's use the shade Tahiti. That's the one right underneath of it, and it's just a really beautiful warm toned pinky purple. Oh, I like that so far. I like how pinky purple it is. It's different. I think I'm going to start building that up on that outer edge there as well. So right now I'm going to use my Sonia G Builder Pro. It's just like a packing brush, really good for really packing on that pigment. And I'm going to take that shade Tahiti. It's the same one I was just blending with. And I'm just going to start placing it on the end here, the edge. Such a pretty color. I really like this one. I just don't know how deep I want to get with this eye look. So what else did I wish that I would have known when I was younger? I got a good one. Learn how to change your oil and your tires on your car. I really wish I would have learned how to do that. I wish that my dad has shown me how a couple times, but I haven't actually done it myself. And I'm the type of person where if I'm going to remember how to do something, or if I'm going to be able to do something successfully, I have to just do it. I have to be hands-on and I have to do it. And I haven't actually done that yet. So that's definitely something that I wish I would have learned how to do when I was much younger. And I feel like that's kind of a very necessary thing to know how to do. You don't want to have to be relying on other people if you break down on the side of the road or if you need your oil changed or whatever. It's best to just do it your damn self if you know how. And I do not, so I really wish I would have learned how to do that when I was younger. I'm still going to learn. I don't want to be some helpless broad. I want to be able to just to do it myself. I'm really digging this color, like a lot. I hope it's translating the right way on camera. I think what I'm going to do is build up this outer edge here with the shade Blackberry. I'm going to use my Refer 2 brush. It's just like this is really good for like putting shadow underneath the waterline, like smudging, smoking out. So that's what I kind of want to do with this, is start building that darker Blackberry shade right along my top lid line. Let me instead take my Sigma small angled brush. This is their E65. Really great brush for winged liner, smoking out shadow on your lid. I'm going to dip into Blackberry and start maybe packing it on my lid. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I kind of like it. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna roll with it. I started tapping one of the shimmers on my lid just because I wanted to see what it looked like. So I'm gonna take the shade Rose Pink. That's this really beautiful, shimmery, pinky shade. I really like this one. We're just gonna start tapping this on the lid and see what happens here. See how I feel about it. I mean, I did say I wanted to keep it simple. I don't know if it gets much more simple than that. Now there's a really pretty shade called Pearl. This one is like a duochrome pink and it shifts a little bit blue. I can't even tell. It's super pretty, very like reflective and shifty. And what I'm doing is putting that on the inner portion of my eye there. I just don't know if I want to leave it like this, to be honest. It's not that it's not pretty, it's not really giving me the effect I was hoping for. What if we try packing that purple wing back on here? Just trying to do something different. I get tired of the same old looks all the time. I don't know. This is turning into too much work. This is literally what I always do. So what I did was just drag it up and around a little bit, just to kind of tie it in. I don't really hate that. Yeah, you know what? I don't hate that. I'm going to repeat that on the other eye. We'll come back and finish like the blush. I think I still need to do bronzer because all I did was contour. It's going to be one of those videos. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I went ahead and finished the other eye. What I'm doing right now is just smoking out the lower lash line. So I took the shade Blackberry, which is the same deeper purple that I put here. I just stamped that on the lower lash line, and now I'm taking that lilac shade, which was that first transition shade that I went in with, and I'm smoking out the Blackberry shade. Just to kind of bring everything full circle and try to hide some of this under eye because it looks horrendous with all that concealer under there. It looks rough. This is not the brush for it. We need a fluffier brush. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm happy with the quality of these shadows. I mean, like I said, I have played with this before today, so I've tried more than just the shadows I'm using right now. The mattes are so good in this palette. So good. Easy to work with, beautiful, true to color, pigmented, yummy shadows. If this is a palette you were thinking about getting and you didn't know if it was going to be good or if it was going to be worth it, I totally feel like you would not be disappointed. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and move on to like the blush and bronzer because I haven't done that yet. This is pretty much the eye look. I just need to put on some mascara, maybe some eyeliner. Not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. So for the bronzer, I do want to go over top of what I have down already with the Revlon Skin Lights. This one's in the shade 110 Sunlit Glow. This one's just really pretty because it's got a sheen to it and it's not too orange. So I really like this one. Plus it's an affordable option if you're in the market for a bronzer. I haven't used this brush in forever for my bronzer. This is the Sigma F40. It's their large angled contour brush. Perfect brush for bronzer, blush, anything like that. Contour. It's a good bronzer. I like it. So for the blush, I'm going to be using the Essence blush in Beloved. I haven't actually used this one yet. I've swatched it a bunch of times. It's really pretty. Let me pull it back a little bit. It's really pretty. It's just a pinky blush. I think that looks nice. So now I need to add a highlight, and for highlight, again, I wanted to keep it with stuff that I don't use a whole lot anymore. So the one that first popped in my mind was this BH Cosmetic Duo Light Highlight Palette. I have mentioned this like semi-recently because this palette is the shit. I love like the different colors they offer in here, and they don't look glittery on the cheeks at all. They don't emphasize texture, they don't look glittery, they just look duochrome, beautiful highlighted cheeks. Let's start off with the pink one up top. I just realized I haven't put highlighter on in weeks. Holy shit. Because of the mask wearing and stuff and being at work, I haven't really felt the need to wear highlighter. Makes me sad. Oh, buddy. Shoo, you see what I mean? Look at that. And this is BH Cosmetics. It's affordable. It's not crazy expensive. It's beautiful. Yes. That is where it's at. So I quit talking about things that I would do differently. What else did I have on that list? Partying. I would spend more of my youth and my 20s stone cold sober. I have, we all have a history, we all have a past, and I did not always deal with my pain and my stress and heartache and everything. I always had, an excuse to numb that pain, and I didn't always deal with it in a healthy way. So if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would let her know, look, this is not the way to do it. This is not a healthy way to handle your problems, and I would much rather go through life with my eyes wide open and be aware of everything going on around me, be able to feel everything that's happening to me instead of trying to numb that pain and constantly running from things. So if you're younger and you happen to be watching this and that's something that you currently do, I highly encourage you to find healthier ways, healthier coping mechanisms, I guess I should say. If we're not taught how to do that, we don't know how to cope in a healthy way. And I didn't know how to cope in a healthy way. And I wish I had. Okay, so I went ahead and added a shade from Divina Cosmetics to my inner corner there. This is called Soda Swamp, and it's from her, what is this? Sugar Drop collection, I think. I forget the name of it, but beautiful inner corner highlight. It went really well with this eye look. So that's what you see there. Now I'm going to curl the lashes and put on some Benefit Roller Lash. I lined my lower waterline with the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Crybaby. It's just a really pretty pastel purple. I use this quite a bit. Now I need to do something with the lips, and I think we're going to be finished with this look. Okay, so this is the finished look after I added lipstick. Hope I didn't get any on my teeth. I did. Does not really do any kind of favors for the whiteness of my teeth. Anyway, so I took the Colourpop Lippy Pencil in the shade Overtime, and I lined my lips with it. And then I took the Urban Decay Vice lipstick. This one's in the shade Heat. It's a metallized lipstick, so it's got like that kind of glittery, like shiny finish to it. This is a very loud look. Not one that I would typically go for, but something about the red and purple combo, I don't know, it was calling to me. So this is what I ended up with. May not be everybody's cup of tea, but I kind of like it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, watching this look come together, listening to me ramble about things that I wish I would have known when I was younger, or things that I wish I would have done differently when I was younger. There are so many other things, so I think it's important not to live with, like, regret. I mean, we can't really go back and change what we didn't know then, and not much you can do about that, but you can, going forward, make changes in that way, which is what I'm trying to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing before you leave today. Ring that notification bell if you do so you don't miss any of my future uploads, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thanks, bye.